Hello and welcome to the NorseForce Racing League. Here tonight for the Kansas 200 race number 16 of the season. And tonight's race presented by Blaze Pizza, the ButtKicker, Next Level Racing, as well as Crockett Creek Beef Jerky. Want to thank all those sponsors for supporting the NorseForce Racing League here live on Wednesday nights. Our drivers are here in Kansas at Kansas Speedway for tonight's event. Let's go to the racetrack and see what they are up to. And it looks like qualifying is underway. Currently looking on Mr. Donovan Strauss, who gets a bit sideways going into turn number one. He's going to lose control, actually. Let's go to Joseph Sizek, the number 53 machine. I believe in his second or third start here this season. So we'll see how Joseph can do with just over 4 minutes left in the qualifying session. And let's actually take a look at the point standings coming in here. Race number 16. Let's bring up those points so you can take a look. Anthony Burrows, of course, leading the point standings as he has been for basically the entire season. With 4 wins, he has a massive gap to the cut line, and I'm pretty sure is locked in at this point with just a handful of races left to go before the chase. Derek Justice comes in second in points. He won a couple weeks back at Bristol Motor Speedway. Great race there. Dylan Alt was last week's winner at Watkins Glen, so a couple of these guys getting some nice solid victories and moving up in the points. Keith Mayato had a good run last week at Watkins Glen, as well as the week before at Bristol, and he comes in here 4th in the point standings. Chris Samard comes in 5th, Ian Smith 6th, and Matt Kemp 7th. Dylan Parker 8th, Nicholas Short in 9th, and Connor Horn rounds out the top 10. And pretty large gap even from Kirk Marble back to the cut line, but Malik Ray and Zach Nichols have been bouncing around in and out of the top 12, and they find themselves separated by only 7 points. So that spot up for grabs, and Zach Nichols is in the race. Malik Ray currently sitting 4th on the qualifying grid, and behind them we also have Eric Royce, Jimmy Mullis with a couple wins on the season, Wade Hustad, Briar LaPrade also with a victory this year. I do not see Briar out here tonight. Colin Keister making another appearance in the league. He was the winner of week number 1. Wade Hustad also in the mix here. John Furness, Justin Botello, and Josh Lambert. A lot of those guys well back of the cut line and probably not going to be able to make it in without some type of a miracle at this point in the season. But that is how they come into tonight's event. In the point standings, looks like Ian Smith still on the racetrack. His qualifying time still coming in. Looks like a couple new faces here. Jaden Kritachi, hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly, out on the racetrack now, just easing it around turns 3 and 4. Doesn't look like he's putting in a serious lap. Eric Royce coming across the start-finish line to begin his lap, trying to muster up as much speed as possible here. He's going to ride the high line through turns 1 and 2, which is the most common way to get around this racetrack here in Kansas. We'll see what he can do, as he is going to have plenty of time to get that second lap in, assuming he doesn't make any mistakes down here in 3 and 4, but looks clean and green so far. Let's go to the nose cam here. Right along with Eric, as he is pretty much flat out all the way around the speedway. Swings it down a bit lower for this lap, trying to get that perfect arc through the turns here, down the back straightaway once again. In that GTR simulator, Ford Mustang number 72 out of turn number 4. What kind of lap time does he put down here? And that is going to be a 31.396. That is going to be good for 5th. Great lap time by Eric. We want to welcome you here to V-Speed. My name is Adam Baker, and I will be the commentator here tonight. We are live on Twitch at the moment. You can also find race replays over on YouTube, along with other interesting automotive and racing content. You can also find us on Facebook at facebook.com/vspeedsim, where we post race announcements before each and every broadcast. And you can also find those announcements on Instagram and Twitter, as well as on-site reporting, new merchandise, and new products in the store at vspeedsim.com. But it looks like the field getting set to go here, and let's get to our starting grid and show you where your favorite driver is starting tonight. And cheer on your favorite driver in the chat. Let us know that you're out there, and we will give you a shout out to let the drivers know that you're cheering for them. Anthony Burrows, your points leader, captures the pole here tonight at Kansas. A great lap time there, 31.357, and he goes to the pole position. Nicholas Short going to start in the second position there on the front row. Ryan Libby rolling off in third. Malik Ray, a two-time winner this year, going to be starting in the fourth position. Derek Justice, winner at Bristol, starting in fifth, and Eric Royce starting in the sixth position. Donovan Strauss going to be rolling off in seventh. Michael Jeans going to be starting in the eighth position. Vince Marsh rolling off in ninth, and Ian Smith is going to round out the top 10 on the grid. Josh Lambert starting in 11th position here. Justin Walters going to be rolling off in 12th. Graham Boland starting in 13th position. Chris Samard to his outside in the 14th spot. Jaden Kurtachi going to be rolling off in 15th. Tyler Logan starting in 16th. Presley Gilson going to be rolling off in the 17th position, and Zach Nichols going to be rolling off in 18th. 19th will be Colin Keister, rounding out the top 20. It's going to be last week's winner, Dylan Alt, in that number 42 machine. Joseph Sizek going to be rolling off in 21st. Keith Mayato starting in the 22nd position. And Mark Stryker rounds out the field here, 23 tonight for the Kansas 200. And the cars rolling off the pit lane, getting ready to go green here. Let's take a look at our weather before we get rolling. 90-degree air temp and 118-degree track temp. Gonna make for a very slick racetrack. Got to keep an eye on the tire wear, and we'll see how these guys migrate to the top lane throughout the race, and that'll help preserve some tire. But it's also very risky as the run goes on, and it can get pretty slick up there as well, so we'll see what happens with that. I want to thank you all for joining. Hope you enjoyed the broadcast tonight. Going to be a good one. 23 cars, one of the larger fields we've seen over the last few weeks, so good to see some of these guys who were missing for the middle section of the season coming back out to race and try and put on a good show for us here. Pace car takes it down the pit lane. We are about to get underway for race number 16 of the season. Green flag in the air, and we are underway in Kansas. Anthony Burrows gets him going. Nicholas Short leading the outside line. As they go down through turns 1 and 2, Burrows clearly out in front. Nicholas Short trying to fight back on the high side there. Going to be alongside the 46 machine of Ryan Libby, who charges down low, looking for that lead here on lap number 1. Is he going to be able to get it? Going to have to get some help here from Derek Justice. They cut down to the low line. It's going to be Anthony Burrows at the line to lead that lap, but Libby with the advantage now in the low line as he sends it into the corner here. And all those cars down low drifting up nearly 3 wide. Oh, Derek Justice going to get turned. Nicholas Short, Malik Ray. Ray up into the air and trying to find them. Malik Ray buried in that outside wall. And caution is going to fly early here at Kansas. Let's go take a look. Starting with Derek Justice got turned. of the corner. He comes up on Nicholas Short. It was 3 wide, though. And Malik Ray bouncing up and through the air. The 28 of Ian Smith caught up in this. Chris Samard, heavy damage on the 37 V-Speed machine. And there's nowhere to go for him. Let's watch from his perspective. He got a little bump from behind. It looks like it's sent around. Kind of a pinball out there, but Malik Ray with the ride there, he actually takes it behind the wall. And let's see what it looked like from inside Malik's car. Nowhere for Malik to go, and that car really beat up as it bounces off the wall about 4 or 5 times. And it comes to rest just at the entrance of turn number 3. So heavy contact for a lot of these guys, and many taking it behind the wall. Ian Smith, one of our top 10 points contenders. There's nowhere to go for Ian, and he gets clobbered by the 46. So I believe that is not the 46. I'm not sure who that was. Showing as the 46 on track, but I believe a different number, as Ryan Libby is the 46. And a lot of cars coming down the pit lane. Looks like top 4 do remain on the racetrack. So that is going to take us to our first commercial break, and we'll be right back with the green flag.
At Crockett Creek Beef Jerky, we don't have fancy Madison Avenue advertising. We don't have famous Hollywood endorsements. We don't have mythical creatures as mascots. See, here at Crockett Creek, we're proud of what we don't have. No artificial preservatives or chemicals, gluten-free, and no added MSG. Just all natural, small batch protein made in the foothills of the Smoky Mountains. Enjoy Crockett Creek Jerky, from our backyard to yours.
With the ButtKicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. ButtKicker, the future is feeling.
Back to the racetrack now. Field working their way through turns 3 and 4. And if you are interested in your own ButtKicker products, use the code NORSE20 at thebuttkicker.com to save 20% off your purchase of any product in their store. And they can get you hooked up over there. But green flag back in the air. Ryan Libby takes him to the start-finish line there. He's going to get a good jump over Anthony Burrows, who leads the way in front of Joseph Sizek. Colin Keister also in the number 33 up there in the high line. He leads that line with the 51 of Donovan Strauss in behind him. Some top names putting up some good runs already here, but just 7 laps into it. And anything can happen, as we've already seen with the caution on lap 2. But Burrows out in front, leading the way as he's led the points in a very similar fashion almost since the get-go. And 3 wide for second place now. Ryan Libby up high. Colin Keister through the middle. Going to try and make a charge here. And he will take over second position. Donovan Strauss slides right up in front of Libby, who drops all the way now back to 4th and now 5th as the 14 of Vince Marsh looks to the inside to take 5th away. Libby is fading on the old tires. And the 51 of Donovan Strauss on fresh Goodyear Eagles right on the back bumper of the top 2. As the 33 of Keister starts drifting up the racetrack, trying to stay off of Burrows, and he will. Down the back straightaway they go, nose to tail. Joseph Sizek peek to the inside. Oh, contact there. Donovan Strauss trying to hang on. Oh, he slams the outside wall back into the field. Libby involved, and caution gonna fly. Libby had nowhere to go. And he is possibly going to take it behind the wall. We'll see if he gets that car rolling again, but heavy contact for both Ryan Libby and the 51 of Donovan Strauss. Let's go back and see what happened. Saw the contact. And the 51 just a little bit clipped there by the 53, and that sends him spinning. The 46 slams into him, nowhere for Ryan Libby to go, and that is going to blow the motor of Donovan Strauss. No doubt about that. Take a look from Ryan Libby's onboard here. And basically worst case scenario for all drivers involved. Unfortunately, Ryan Libby and Donovan Strauss going to be in big trouble here. And Donovan has taken it behind the wall. Ryan Libby still on track, but going to be significantly hindered by the damage on that body armor number 46. And everybody's going to bring it down the pit lane now. We'll see if there's any 2-tire strategy calls here. As it looks like everyone on 4. And Keith Mayato with an excellent pit stop. He's going to jump up to the 5th position. And Keith was able to make it through the first caution. Started in 22nd all the way up to 5th. So great run going right now. Trying to follow up on the last 2 races where I believe he has gotten a top 5 in each. Derek Justice, after getting involved in that early caution, still heavy damage on the race car. Shows him in 7th, but I believe he's going to be bringing it down the pit lane here. And Anthony Burrows resumes the lead. So 2 cautions already in this one. Looks like Chris Samard going to take a wave around here. Heavy damage on the 37 machine. Eric Royce also heavily damaged behind him. And then Jaden Kurtachi, the number 11 car, he's back on the racetrack. Looks like maybe a late start for Jaden. And that race car totally clean, so he is looking to go back to 1 lap down instead of the 2 laps down that he was here at the time of this caution. We started with I believe 23 drivers, and now down to 17 on the racetrack. Only 16 on the lead lap at the moment. So potentially going to be a race of attrition here tonight in Kansas. And if you're enjoying the broadcast so far, please consider following or subscribing here on VSpeed. You can also check out our YouTube channel where we post race replays of the NorseForce Racing League, as well as other automotive and racing content. And please consider following or subscribing here and on YouTube. It really helps us to continue to bring you great racing content throughout the week. And help support these NorseForce Racing League guys. It's at the front. It is Anthony Burrows and Colin Keister. And we'll take a look. Keister started in 19th, and he is all the way up to the 2nd position. So doing an excellent job so far to gain the track position that he didn't have through the opening laps. And we'll see if he's able to get to the point here and lead a few laps. We haven't seen Colin out here too much, but he was right at the front of the pack in the opening few races of the year, actually winning the race, the season opener at Texas, in a very dominating performance. So surprising to not see him out here more, but definitely one of the quickest guys on the circuit, no matter where you are. Pace car going to take it down the pit lane and waiting on the flagman to get us going once again. And green flag back in the air. Colin Keister, Anthony Burrows on the front row here. Already 2 cautions in the field, whittled down to less than 20 drivers. Some heavy hitters taken out via some heavy hits, as we've got cars dropping to the apron here, knowing that something like that could happen again. They might not be so lucky the next time. This is Colin Keister way up by the wall, trying to muster as much momentum as possible. He'll get alongside Anthony Burrows down the front straightaway. This long sweeping curve down into corner number 1. He's going to swing it all the way to the outside. And Joseph Sizek right behind the top 2 here. Oh, the 33 of Keister right to the outside quarter panel. And Anthony Burrows was going to try and clear him, but no room to do so. Burrows all the way down to that white line. And he is fighting for the top position here. And not sure who had it. It looked like Keister leads that lap. He does. Colin Keister, Anthony Burrows showing the way. Dylan Alt, last week's winner. He's up from 20th to the 4th position. And he has a tiny bit of damage on the rear end of that race car, but overall looks pretty good as Joseph Sizek brushes the wall. We've got Dylan Alt going to squeeze him down into the apron there, but that is going to hurt the 53 as he loses 2 spots now. Keith Mayato to the outside. Vince Marsh, the next one with his target set on the 53. Tyler Logan making a nice charge here, up from 16th to 6th position. And the Carolina number 5, right behind him, we've got the 44 of Zach Nichols in the Busch Light Ford Mustang. A little different scheme than what we're used to seeing. And then Mark Stryker back here, that's 77. Decorated in skulls, it looks like. He currently rides in the 8th position, up from the last position on the grid. Joseph Sizek, after tagging the wall, he drops from inside the top 5 to 9th. Derek Justice finds himself back up in the top 10, even with all that damage. Doing an incredible job. As Chris Simard fighting it out with the 11 machine. But they are not on the same lap. They're actually a lap separated, with Jaden Kratacci down one in 15th. Currently taking up that lucky dog spot. But at the front, back and forth they go. Eventually this will pay off for Colin Keister. The inside line going to lose its grip and speed. But Burrows with the shortest way around at the moment. Able to hang on to that top spot. But only by a few thousandths that time by. He's trying to clear Keister, but unable to. As the 33 has a little help from Dylan Alt in that 42. And Alt just waiting for these guys to get side by side and boost his draft. But it looks like now he's alongside Burrows and going to try and hang there as they go into turn one. Burrows almost able to clear, but not going to be able to. Now Keister drops down in front. That's probably going to give the advantage to Burrows, who slides up right across the nose of Dylan Alt, who gives him a shove down the straightaway. Points leader Anthony Burrows runs in second now. Keith Mayato fighting it out with Zach Nichols, a couple drivers who have had a serious resurgence here towards the midpoint of this season. And Mayato coming off back-to-back top 5 finishes, looking for another one. Fighting in fourth, Nichols down low in that 5th position. Ooh, in the 44, right across the nose. Mayato gives him a shove. And they've got to work together if they want to catch the top 3, who have started to break away. Keister pulling a slight gap over Burrows, but it is not much. The 62 getting a draft down the straightaways here. And a big run out of turn 2. He gets right to the bumper, but unable to make a move. And it gets exponentially more difficult the longer you're on a set of tires to make a pass. As Dylan Alt looks like he's been conserving fairly well. He's all over Burrows through the center of the corner here. And you can just see the run from Burrows as he ducks down to the inside. Going to swing it way low here, but probably not going to be able to make that move stick. As Keister able to power along the outside. But Burrows hanging tough with him down low. Might be able to get a move down here in turns 1 and 2. Try and pull a little slide job. But not going to happen as Dylan Alt all over the back bumper of Colin Keister. Down into 3 and 4. Heck of a battle among these top 3, and Zach Nichols has broken away from Keith Mayato for the 4th position. So doing a very good job here inside the top 5 is Zach Nichols. Vince Marsh also closing in on Keith Mayato, so that 14 car, good run going here, started 9th. He's been inside the top 10. Currently rides in 6th. Mark Stryker, mentioned him already, up inside the top 10. Started shotgun on the field. Presley Gilson, not a name that we've heard too much here in this series, but started 17th. He's up to 12th. Good solid run going. And a little ways back of Chris Simard, who rides in the 11th position. But Eric Royce, heavy damage on that race car. He rides in 13th after starting up inside the top 10. Going to be a disappointing finish, but trying to make some laps here and see if you can get some damage repaired throughout the rest of the event. The top 6 all in line, led by Colin Keister, who's led 12 laps thus far. After starting from 19th, we're going to go side by side. I'll be right back with more action.
Okay, we're going to keep this quick.
Because at Blaze Pizza,
artisanal quality at crazy fast speed is what we're all about.
Fresh dough made from scratch daily.
Walk the line and choose any toppings you'd like.
It's all one price.
Then it's just 180 seconds in our blazing hot oven
For fast fire perfection.
That's Blaze Pizza. Sound good?
Then come check us out and build your own pizza at Blaze Pizza.
With the ButtKicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. ButtKicker, the future is feeling.
Big battle going on here as Dylan Alt under fire from Zach Nichols. Looks like Nichols going to take over the spot. And we saw this from Zach. I believe it was Chicagoland with incredible long run speed. And he is showing it right now. One of the fastest cars on the track. Keith Mayato pulls the same move, but on the other end of the speedway. Looks like Mayato trying to carry the momentum down low, but not going to be able to stay out in front of Alt as they swing down into turn 1 and 2. Mayato right by the white line. He swings it up to the high side now, and he will slide into 4th. He's going to try and follow Zach Nichols towards the front, but they ride just about a second or so behind your top 2, being Colin Keister and Anthony Burrows, who have broken away. The question is, how long can they stay out here for a fuel run? It has been 23 laps, and by my estimations, could probably go about 40 laps. So we'll see them right around the halfway point, maybe a little bit after. And it may be their final stop. It could be a close fuel mileage race, as Kansas often is. As they put a lap here on Justin Walters, who's showing us the 46 on the track, but number 54 in our scoring system. And he goes 2 laps down now. Nicholas Short just got lapped a few moments ago. He started on the front row, but caught up in that lap 2 incident rather. Currently in the lucky dog spot. But that car well off the pace here. And I'm going to keep my eye on Zach Nichols here. See what he can do to close in on Anthony Burrows. Zach all the way up from 18th, and he has brought Keith Mayato right along with him. And those two seem to be working together a little bit to find their way towards the front. But Zach trying to get some air on the left front of his race car, get a little downforce, as Keith Mayato gonna do the same thing. He swings it way low. And might have lost Zach Nichols. Nope, just for a moment we did. No, still having connection problems. He's the 44, but Mayato trying to get some downforce on the nose of that race car. And last time by, fastest car on the track was your leader. Not a surprise with the clean air. He has all the downforce in the world and none of the dirty air that these other drivers are experiencing. And it's exactly what we saw happen at Texas, where Keister drove out to a large lead and ended up dominating the race. But Anthony Burrows doing his best to stay within striking distance and just 1.1 seconds back. Definitely not out of contention. So we're not even past halfway. Anything can happen here. Just 13 cars on the lead lap. Eric Royce, 25 seconds or so behind the leader. That car with some significant damage as he brings it out of turn 2. You can see the steering all bent on the front as he has a lot of wheel cranked into it to get it around these turns. So not going to be a great result for Eric, but gotta admire the perseverance here as they are starting to close in. But the battle for second is on. Anthony Burrows and Zach Nichols fighting it out for second position. Burrows has had this spot for quite a while, but Nichols showing that long run ability that we've seen out of him so many times this season. And he has arrived to challenge for that spot. But overall, pretty much single file and good gaps between cars. This is the closest battle on the speedway. And Nichols has to be very careful that he doesn't make a mistake or overdrive a turn with very little downforce as he rides right behind the 62. That car could shoot straight into the wall if he just overdoes it by even a car length. But all over the back bumper, it now goes low. And he is going to try and make the pass, but doesn't look to have the drive through the center. And that is going to be the story of trying to pass on old tires. We are nearing the halfway point. So if you haven't already, cheer on your favorite driver. Let us know who you're rooting for in chat, and we'll give you a shout out on the broadcast here. As your leader, Colin Keister, out to a large lead of 1.5 seconds. About to lap Eric Royce, and that'll leave just 12 cars, or 11 cars rather, on the lead lap. So he goes right on by. Dylan Alt took it behind the wall, I believe. Not sure what happened with Dylan, but looks like he's going to come home in 16th after winning last week at Watkins Glen, so perhaps connection problem, but he is out of the event here, so not going to be a back-to-back winner this time. As Burrows still being challenged by Zach Nichols and Keith Maiato. Maiato just about 3 car lengths back as they make their way around the lap car of Eric Royce. And by far the closest battle on the track. Nichols swings it way down. But you can see that car just doesn't stick at this point in the run, and he's going to give up all the speed that he gains. And Maiato working the high line. He might be able to get alongside the 44 as now Nichols swings it high, throws the block. Maiato going to be underneath here. Turns 1 and 2, and he rides a little bit higher. Then cuts down, but not going to work this far into the run. Now 36 laps on these tires. Zach Nichols reloading, trying to find a way around. As he still has a challenge from Keith Maotto, some connection problems for Nichols. And no moves happening just yet. Pit stop's probably going to be coming up in the next 10 laps. And then that would get them to the end, but just barely. Colin Keister out here with tons of clean air. Race car, no dents or scratches on that thing. And would be quite the return to the league. And so I want to take a look at his results so far this season. Colin Keister comes in here. Trying to find him in the standings. He comes in tied for 40th. Just 5 races so far this year, one of them being the win, the season opener. And he led laps in 4 out of those 5 races, but looks like crashed out in the other 4 and took a nice long break, but he is back and looking dominant like race number 1, now out to almost a 2-second lead. So a heck of a job, heck of a return to the series. We'll see if he can continue this all the way to the end of the race. Has to be mistake-free through the pit cycle, and hope that these guys don't try anything funny and maybe get an advantage on him. But Anthony Burrows fighting hard to hold off Zach Nichols and Keith Maotto. And Nichols just so desperate to get by. He is all over the back bumper. Now a late move, peaks half a lane low, but that's not going to work. Anthony Burrows pushing that car through the center of the turn. You could see the back end starting to kick around a little, but he hangs on to the spot for at least another lap here. And Keith Maotto back here just waiting for something to happen, and so he can see his opportunity. But these 3 drivers all within 3/10 of each other, and Colin Keister out there in the distance. As Burrows, maybe brushing the wall there. Does that cost him some time? It looks like he hangs on, but that's going to allow Keith Maotto and Zach Nichols all nose to tail. And nobody makes a move. It looks like it might not be possible, even with the 62 going so wide there in turns 1 and 2. Now 44 laps on this stint. A few drivers looking for something to happen here to get a little more damage fixed. Probably going to be Derek Justice. That car's still pretty damaged on the right side and the rear. He rides in the 8th position right now, back from 5th, but got turned on lap 1 from around the 3rd position. Eric Royce, a little issue getting into the corner there. Presley Gilson goes right on by. Presley, a nice run here, up to 9th. And back in 10th, Chris Samard still making laps out here, about 20.8 seconds back of your leader. He has significant damage as well from that first caution. Looking to salvage whatever kind of finish he can. Stay up there in the fight to be in the top 5 in points. But Colin Keister leads it, looking for win number 2 on the season in his return to the series. Oh, Keith Mato able to get around Zach Nichols, but Nichols fighting back. And he's going to go low down through 3 and 4. Mato powering back around the outside, though. He will hang on. Oh, tags the wall. Trying to save the car, and he does. And good job, but that's going to cost him. He's going to have some aero damage for sure. Just a little brush against the wall there. Let's go back and see how that occurred. Oh, just barely clipped it. You can see the damage clearly there on the right front and the right rear. And still hanging on to 4th, but not in the fight for 2nd or 3rd right now. So a mistake by Mayato, that thins this battle out. As Derek Justice and Presley Gilson now 8th and 9th, they are fighting for a spot here in the back half of the top 10. Justice riding the high line, Gilson down low, unable to make the pass happen, but Derek definitely slower on the straightaways. Only able to pull out in front by about a car length there. And when do the leaders come in the pits? 40 laps to go. And no real battles to speak of other than that fight for 8th and 9th. And this fight for 2nd and 3rd, which just does not seem to amount to a whole lot once the 44 makes a move. Zach Nichols looking for his first victory of the year. He comes in just outside the cut line, but with 5 straight top 10s, including 2 runner-up finishes. He hasn't been here for the last couple of races. That's why he's now outside looking in, but this run tonight, as he makes the pass on Burrows. So busy looking at his stats, I didn't see the move he made, but he takes over 2nd, and he comes in just 7 points behind 12th place Malik Ray, and Malik out of this event back in 21st. No matter where Zach finishes at this point, even if he crashed down now, he would jump into the top 12. And Anthony Burrows is going to bring it down pit lane. He locked it up a little. We'll see if he slowed down enough. Just barely gets inside the cone, and we'll have to see if they give him any kind of a speeding penalty or not. But Anthony started on the pole. He's looking to undercut the leader here, as it looks like Samard and Gilson on the pit lane, as well as Tyler Logan. And Anthony Burrows, a long stop here. And I believe he did get a penalty, so that's going to cost Anthony Burrows 2nd and probably any shot at the win, barring a caution. Wow, very long stop. And he still remains on there. Derek Justice currently shown in front, but he is yet to make the pit stop. Everyone else down pit lane. Keister on his way out. Zach Nichols, Keith Mayato all exiting the pit lane. Derek Justice is going to lead a lap here, even in that damaged race car. And he's going to try and set himself up for success by running a bit farther and then having fresher tires for the latter part of this race. But Colin Keister jumps into 2nd. Zach Nichols about 3 seconds behind, so basically where they were when they came into the pits. And Keith Mayato back here in 4th, about 2 seconds back of Nichols. So that has not changed. The only thing that has is Anthony Burrows going to be a lap down after a 54-second pit stop. And that is going to cost him any chance of winning, barring a caution, as I said. He will get 1 lap back by going by by Derek Justice, who stays on the racetrack looking for a caution. As he almost makes contact there, Sizek getting back on the lead lap. And we'll see how long Derek stays out here. It's been 55 laps on this set of tires, and he is just losing time hand over fist. Well, Colin Keister pulling a draft off of Mark Stryker, who's just come out of the pit lane now 2 laps ago. And nobody trying any kind of pit strategy. All 4 tires stops and full tanks of fuel. And Zach Nichols trying to close in, but no draft to do so. As you can see, Keister all the way down at the end of the straightaway. And Zach Nichols exiting or entering turn 1 as Colin Keister just about exiting turn 2. And that gap almost 3 seconds now as Derek Justice still on the racetrack. And he is coasting on turn entry. And I do not believe that not coasting there, but definitely taking the shortest route. Now he's going to come to pit lane. Getting it woed up, locks the brakes down, and he gets on the pit lane without much incident. But Colin Keister is going to take over the lead. It's going to be a 3-second gap back to Zach Nichols. Now Vince Marsh showing in the 3rd position. He is able to jump in front of Mayato with 3-lap tire difference. But Mayato stuck behind him, and we know how hard it is to pass in both these cars with similar damage on the right side. I don't know if Keith has the speed right now to be able to get by, but just biding his time, it looks like about 6 seconds behind the leader. And Zach Nichols unable to close. Fastest car on the speedway was Colin Keister. Derek Justice has gotten off the pit lane and showing about 28 seconds back. But still in 9th here and brand new tires. He should be able to gain 1 or 2 spots before this is all said and done, and ultimately would come out in front of where he was. So not a bad strategy play by the driver of the number 31 to try and salvage what he can. And his next closest competitor, Anthony Burrows, back in 10th, still 1 lap down. And about a 1/4 lap behind your leader, Colin Keister. Number 11 of Jaden Kratachi, not as successful in the latter half of this race, as he currently rides in 11th in that number 11 machine. We saw him charge up and get back on the lead, or near the lead lap. But currently showing 2 laps down, a bit of right side damage. Definitely slowing the progress of that car. Take a look out the nose of Derek Justice. His next competitor up in front is Chris Samard, and Samard about 4 seconds back of Presley Gilson, who you can see off in the distance. But all cars other than Mayato and Marsh, these two fighting it out for third and fourth. And what it would mean for Keith Mayato to get 3 very solid runs here. It'd be a 5th, 4th, and a 3rd. And out of the last 5 races, actually 6 races, 6 top 10s, and 4 top 5s, 3 of them being a 4th place. So he has yet to capture a podium this season, it looks like, but has been very close in 3 out of the last 5 races. So looking to try and get that done here and get that first post-race interview, as Vince Marsh slowing down. Not sure what that was, but maybe he saw something. Or maybe starting to save some fuel. Not sure what happened with Marsh. Yeah, it cost him a lot of time, and now in the wake of Keith Mayato, definitely not going to help him as the laps build up on those tires. Colin Keister about to put Derek Justice 1 lap down, and that'll put Derek in the lucky dog spot for the moment. But no battles really to speak of on track. Going to be tough for him to actually be awarded the lucky dog. Chris Samard not far up the road. Colin Keister is going to get there before he knows it. Colin leading 55 laps out of the 77 that have been run, and just an incredible performance once again. Looking to try and capture his 2nd win of the year after a string of wrecks and poor performances knocked him out of the series for a long break. He is back with a vengeance, trying to capture another win. Zach Nichols looking for another strong finish here. Currently rides in 2nd, and he really needs it. Coming in on the outside of the cut line, this would move him inside, and it would be his 3rd runner-up finish in 7 races. So doing a heck of a job here in the middle part of the season, and really very consistent so far. Just 1 finish at Iowa, being in 30th position, but everything else 16th or better with 6 top 10s in 10 races. Zach has really shown some speed at various points. Led a lot of laps at Darlington after starting on the pole, and really showed some strength at Chicagoland, coming up just a bit short at the end. So we'll see if anything changes here, if he can try and close the gap, but not able to do so just yet. Thank you, Mav200, for the follow. Hope you're enjoying the broadcast. Thanks for tuning in. Just 7 cars on the lead lap here at Kansas. We started with a field of 23, and only 12 remain on the speedway. Chris Samard getting passed by Derek Justice now. That's a trade for 8th and 9th. Derek trying to stay in position for the lucky dog if that was to be awarded due to caution, but no real prospective cautions on the horizon. Looks like Vince Marsh, Keith Mayato, that is the closest battle as Marsh brushes the wall. That will end the battle for a moment at least, and Vince will have to try and rebuild his momentum to get back up there. challenge for the third position, but Keith Maotto looking for his first podium of the year. And Anthony Burrows currently in position for his worst finish of the season. After starting on the pole here, he has led 11 laps, but his worst finish of the season, 6th place. Back in race number 2 at Auto Club. And since then has not finished outside the top 5 and also collected 4 victories with podium after podium, all but looks like 3 or 4 races not on the podium. So Anthony has been on fire this season. This race not gone according to plan with the mistake on pit lane. And we saw that happen last week at Watkins Glen, which cost him the win there. But what a charge he put on to get within a second of Dylan Alt by the end of that race. That was a heck of a battle. As Keister continues to lead now 4.4 seconds over Zach Nichols, who is just entering turn number 3 and stuck behind the 77 of Mark Stryker. Can't be helping him. Just on the straightaways, maybe a little pull, but through the turns is definitely costing him some performance. Doesn't look like Stryker is going to pull over for him either, so we'll see if he can work his way past here. Gets a nose down underneath, but so hard to pass. As they are now on 23 lap old tires and under 15 to go. Almost an impossible gap to make up, barring a mistake from Colin Keister. Closest battle on the speedway is Vince Marsh and Keith Maotto, 7/10 separating those two. That is Maotto right up there. Out the front windshield of Vince Marsh, but 3/4 of a second still separate them. And next closest will be Joseph Sizek and Presley Gilson and Tyler Logan. So Logan entering turn 3, Sizek now in turn 3, and now Gilson. Each of those separated by about 1.7 seconds. And all just under 7 seconds in front of your leader on the tail end of the lead lap here. Derek Justice not letting Colin Keister get too far out in front. And he's probably going to try and fight to get back on the lead lap before it's all said and done. And if he stays around here, he might even catch Presley Gilson. But they're running pretty similar lap times, so it seems unlikely that he will get there. So things winding down, under 10 to go. As Colin Keister out in front by about 4.5 seconds. Keith Maotto another 8 seconds back from there, and Vince Marsh starting to close back in. Now just 4/10. Oh, and a mistake possibly by Sizek or Gilson. Currently 6th and 7th. They are nose to tail. And this is a fight for position. Sizek right up by the wall. Looks like he is a bit slow right now on much older tires than the 19. And not too far behind is Mr. Derek Justice. We'll see if he can get there and take 7th place away. Just about 3 seconds the difference. That time by about 8/10 faster that lap, so Derek needs all the points he can get. He can make up a few on Anthony Burrows. Obviously, the point differential very significant. Just under 100 points separating them. But Derek has been very good here with the last stretch of races with a victory and a top 5. Looking to recover a bit after that lap 2 incident. Oh, and Mayato, a not so great lap there. Maybe brushed the wall again as Vince Marsh is caught up. And this is the fight to get on the podium. Mayato up high, Vince Marsh down low. Side by side out of turn 2. Mayato's going to hang on to it. But that fight starting back up again. The question is, can Mayato hang on here? He's on fresher tires, but he's got a little bit more damage than Vince does, I think. And Vince has the benefit of the draft down the straightaways, so 2/10 separating them. This is 3rd and 4th. Top 2, no battles going on there. And Derek Justice now 1.3 seconds behind Joseph Sizek, so that battle going to be very close by the end of this race. As Keith Mayato hangs on to 3rd for right now, Derek Justice can see Joseph Sizek, and then Presley Gilson not far up in front either. And then Tyler Logan, 26.9 seconds back. He is in the 5th position. A good race from Tyler as he started 16th and going to come out of here with top 5 barring any significant problems. So a heck of a job there. And Vince Marsh, great race from him as well. He's not done yet though, as he gets to the back bumper of Keith Mayato right up by the outside wall there. He'll swing it a bit lower, trying to carry that speed out of the corner. And it will be 3 to go this time. As Keister comes across the line now, Zach Nichols across the line. Mayato and Marsh about 10 seconds back. And Zach Nichols actually chopping away at the lead. But still 3.8 seconds the difference, so not sure what's going on with Colin Keister. But the gap's still too large as Derek Justice now on the back bumper of Joseph Sizek for 7th and 8th. Derek on much fresher tires. Should be able to make the pass, but he does have the damage holding him back. As side by side for 3rd place, Keith Mayato, Vince Marsh. Both these drivers looking for their first podium, as Mayato almost brushes the wall but carries that speed. He's going to hang on to 3rd. White flag going to fly here as Colin Keister still 3.8 seconds out in front and no challengers. 77 laps led. We're going to keep our eye on this battle. Looks like Vince Marsh lost some ground. Joseph Sizek still hanging on to a spot here. These guys, this is their last lap, so Derek Justice trying to make the move. He's down low. He's going to push the 53 up high. Justice across the line. Looks like Derek Justice does get that spot. Colin Keister is going to win. Keith Mayato going to hang on to 3rd place, his first podium. But Colin Keister, 78 laps led after starting from 19th here. A little bit differently than how he did it, I believe, in race number 1. Where he started in 3rd and was up in front for 126 out of 150. This one, he came through the field, surviving the lap 2 incident. Get a big congratulatory bump there from Zach Nichols. But he will come home your winner here. So congratulations to Colin Keister. And we will be back in just a few moments after a commercial break to do our post-race interviews.
At Crockett Creek Beef Jerky, we don't have fancy Madison Avenue advertising. We don't have famous Hollywood endorsements. We don't have mythical creatures as mascots. See, here at Crockett Creek, we're proud of what we don't have. No artificial preservatives or chemicals, gluten-free, and no added MSG. Just all natural, small batch protein made in the foothills of the Smoky Mountains. Enjoy Crockett Creek Jerky, from our backyard to yours.
With the ButtKicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. ButtKicker. The future is feeling.
And we are back. Going to be bringing up our race winner here, Mr. Colin Keister. Colin Keister, this is Adam in the V-Speed booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir, I got you.
Well, Colin, welcome back with a victory here at Kansas. We haven't seen you in a little while in the series, but how does it feel to come back and get a very dominant victory like this?
It feels great. I'm glad we got that long green flag running. I had a blast there. I was surprised that we were able to pull away like that. Usually, I'm glad that the package allowed us to separate a little bit. Usually, we're on top of each other the whole time.
Yeah, definitely got separated, and you just kind of drove away with it. But you think the high track temps here, making it a little bit slick, and burning up the tires a bit, think that contributed to kind of the distance between you?
Yes, that definitely helped. Us being there in the daytime and it being a lot hotter was a big factor in it. And especially, I had clean air most of the night too, so that allowed me to keep my foot in the throttle for a lot longer.
Yeah, 10-4, and you were on the throttle for a good portion of the time. All those guys with a little bit less downforce looked like they just couldn't keep up. But this is your second victory of the season, and you didn't have quite the string of races there. For a while you had the speed, but it looked like the luck wasn't on your side. So, what does it mean to just come out of here with another win tonight and get some momentum back rolling in this series?
Yeah, I'm glad that I took a couple races off there, and I'm glad to come back and be able to get back to victory lane.
Yeah, it's good to see you back in victory lane. We go to New Hampshire next week, so you think you'll be there, or what are your thoughts on going out there?
Yes, I will be. I'm gonna try and run the rest of the season if I can.
Yeah, 10-4. It'll definitely be good to see you out here. Another level of competition with you on the track. New Hampshire, definitely a fun speedway, challenging track, but it'll be interesting to see how you can do out there. See if you can go back to back. But Anybody want to give a shout out to for tonight's victory?
Yeah, give a shout out to Roush Fenway. I just got signed for them for the upcoming NASCAR iRacing series. I'm looking forward to that. And shout out to my teammates. They didn't last very long in the race, but Graham Boland, Derek Justice, Malik Ray, I always race good with them, but unfortunately their nights came to an end quick. And I'd like to thank all the guys in the race. That was a great race we had, and thank you guys for broadcasting it.
And thank you for putting on a good show for us here, Colin. Good to see you back in Victory Lane and back in the series here, and we'll catch you next week at New Hampshire.
All right, you have a good one.
Thank you, you too. That was your winner here tonight, Colin Keister. Let's go to second place finisher, Zach Nichols. So we bring him up in the booth. Zach Nichols, had him in the V-Speed booth. You got a copy?
Yeah.
Well, Zach, you gave it your best shot here. It looked like the gap was just too much to make up, but you did start closing in the last few laps. Give us a rundown of how your race went tonight and how you got to second place here.
Yeah, we decided not to qualify and start in the back, which was a good call on our part because there was a massive crash on lap 2, which took out almost half the field. So yeah, that was pretty smart of us, but we just tried to run a clean race, and somehow we saved good enough tires to get up to P2, but Colin was just too fast for us, I guess.
Yeah, we saw a great battle between you and Anthony Burrows and Keith Maotto for a while there. And very similar to Chicagoland, looked like you had something figured out on the long run. What were you doing differently to save the tires with such a hot racetrack?
Yeah, I think both Anthony and Keith, they were running a little bit higher than what I was. I was running like at least a groove below them, which I found it actually helped the car turn just a little bit better than running all the way up by the wall. But yeah, it was hard to get around them. I think we raced him for like 40-something laps, and we finally got past him.
Yeah, and you were all alone by yourself after the pit cycle, after he made a mistake and Keith got in the wall earlier. So what was it like running by yourself versus in traffic?
Yeah, in traffic you had to lift a lot. The car was super tight, but once we got out after those pit stops, we were all by ourselves, and you could literally just keep her wide open for who knows how long, because we were just flat open that whole last run almost until we caught those lap cars.
Yeah, 10-4, and we were hoping you might be able to get up there and challenge, but the gap too much to get there. This is your second straight podium, and it looks like 3 out of the last 7. So, or 3 out of the last 6 rather. So doing a great job here in this middle part of the season. How much momentum does that give you going into a challenging track like New Hampshire next week?
Oh yeah, I personally like New Hampshire because it's not flat open or wide open. But yeah, I look forward to New Hampshire. It's I like flat tracks, so that's a pretty flat track. So yeah, I think we'll like that one.
Yeah, and we'll look to see if you can capture your first win out there. You've been knocking on the door, and definitely have shown a lot of speed here in the last few races. So we'll see what you can do there. But you come home second after starting back in 18th. Anybody want to give a shout out to for tonight's finish?
Yeah, I'd like to thank you for broadcasting the races, the league admins for putting the races on. I'd like to give also a shout out to my real life sponsors, Pro Fleet Transport and Pulse Cars Performance Heads.
Awesome, Zach. Well, congrats on another second place run here, and we'll catch you next week at New Hampshire.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, that was second place finisher Zach Nichols, and we're going to go to third place finisher Mr. Keith Maotto. Keith Maotto, this is Adam, the V-Speed booth. You got a copy?
10-4.
Well, Keith, you finally get yourself on the podium here. It seemed almost like you were avoiding me, even though I know you're not. We ran a 24-hour race together over the weekend. But you started back in 22nd, and you pull out a top 3. Give us a rundown of your race here tonight.
Yeah, the plan in the beginning was just to hopefully avoid the big wrecks in the beginning, which worked out fine. And then slowly, work your way through all the cautions and try to save up, as much as you can, as much as I can, just rubber-wise, and try to make a good long run. And of course, doesn't help when you tap the wall coming out of 4.
Yeah, we saw you catch it just a little bit there, racing side by side with Zach, and that was a heck of a battle. We just talked to him about it a little bit, but it was so tough. It looked like in traffic, but you and Zach both reeled in Anthony. So how did you guys do it?
I think just managing tires, not over driving it, just enough to keep up with everyone, and even just adjusting the line a little bit. As soon as, if everyone's running the high line, you can run probably like half a groove down, and it would free up the car quite a bit. And yeah, at the end when I was running with Zach there, I keep forgetting. I've been bitten by it before, where if you're behind a car and all of a sudden there's a car that comes up on your inside, it just gets really tight, and that's when I hit the wall. I just keep forgetting that it can happen, but it was a good battle. And then I had a battle there with Vince at the end, trying to hang on for third because I just didn't have any straight line speed, but I knew he'd have a tough time trying to get me on the inside.
Yeah, and you held him off there in those final laps, and you've kind of notched forward a position each of the last few races. So you go from 5th at Bristol to 4th at the Glen, now 3rd at Kansas. You think you can get a top 2 over at New Hampshire next week?
It's gonna be tough at that track. I know it's definitely not my strong suit, but anything can happen. I was expecting more from tonight. I felt pretty comfortable running second. What I been able to catch Colin, probably not. He had a pretty good gap, but long run speed, I felt really good. But we'll see. I'm good with the podium. I haven't had a podium for a long time. It's been coming, but I'll keep battling, and hopefully things keep getting better.
Yeah, and it looks like things are definitely improving with looks like 5 top 5s in the last 6 races and 6 top 10s. So definitely luck swinging the other way for you here so far. We'll look to see what you can do at New Hampshire. But anyone you want to give a shout out to for tonight's 3rd place finish?
Yeah, I'd like to thank yourself, Adam, with V-Speed for the awesome broadcast you do every Wednesday night. Also for sponsoring me on the car, BZ Design, Renegade Coffee Bar, and everyone at NorseForce, Matt, John, everyone for working hard and putting all the time and effort in.
Awesome, Keith. Well, congrats on a top 3, your first of the season, and I see many more coming here over the next string of races. So we wish you luck next week at New Hampshire, and we'll see you then.
Yep, hopefully I'll talk to you soon. Have a good one.
All right, you too. That was Keith Mayato, 3rd place finisher in the V-Speed Ford Mustang, number 36. Started 22nd, comes home 3rd. And of course, Colin Keister, your winner here tonight. A heck of a race. He leads 78 laps. And let's go through our full results here and a quick race recap. So Colin Keister comes home on top. He wins tonight's event in his first race back in a little while. Great race starting in 19th, and all of the top 3 started outside the top 15 and right towards the back of the field. 2 cautions in the early going tonight, and then a long green flag run where we saw green flag pit stops. And Zach Nichols comes home 2nd. Keith Mayato comes home 3rd. Vince Marsh, after a nice strong battle with Mayato, comes home in 4th. A great run for him. Tyler Logan with a nice strong top 5. Presley Gilson comes home 6th. Derek Justice does take the 7th position at the line, racing with Joseph Sizek, who comes home in the 8th position. Chris Samard hangs on for a top 10 in 9th, and Anthony Burrows, after racing inside the top 5 for the entire race with a pit road mistake under green, costs him a lot, and he goes back to the 10th position. But it's still a nice top 10 run. He has not finished outside the top 10 this season. So going to lose a few points to Derek Justice, but not a significant amount. And we see in 11th place, it was Jaden Kratacci. 12th place was Mark Stryker. 13th, Nicholas Short. 14th was Eric Royce. 15th was Justin Walters. 16th was Dylan Alt. 17th, Ryan Libby. 18th, Donovan Strauss. 19th was Ian Smith. Rounding out the top 20 in tonight's race was Malik Ray. In 21st, it was Michael Jeans. 22nd, Josh Lambert. And 23rd, Graham Bolin. All those drivers 98 laps down after getting caught up in the lap 2 incident. But that is going to do it for tonight's broadcast. Colin Keister comes out on top at Kansas, and we will be back next week at New Hampshire here with the NorseForce Valhalla Cup Series. I want to thank all our sponsors here tonight, including Blaze Pizza, the ButtKicker, Next Level Racing, as well as Crockett Creek Beef Jerky. I want to thank them all for their constant support of the NorseForce Valhalla Cup Series. Hope you guys enjoyed the broadcast and check out those great sponsors. We put their links in the chat throughout the event. And if you haven't already, please consider following or subscribing here on VSpeed. I want to thank all of you who have followed and subscribed to get us to where we're at so far. Looking for a great rest of the season here with the NorseForce Valhalla Cup Series. You can find us here every Wednesday at VSpeed Sim on Twitch. You can also check out race replays over on YouTube at VSpeed Media. You can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, where we post race announcements as well as other interesting content, on-site reporting, new merchandise, and all of that. So check us out on those social media outlets. And we are going to jump in with, let's see who is online here. We're going to go join Derek Justice, who came home in the top 10 here tonight with his stream. So enjoy his content, and we will catch you all next week.